Hello, I am Eric Bodhorn, one of the strength athlete coaches and assistant coach with the U.S. national team. Hanny and I were working the 105 kilo session along with Eric Helms and Matt and Susie Gary. It was a fantastic session to be a part of, and I'm going to run you through some of the behind the scenes coaching decisions that were made along the way, give you guys a little bit of insight there. So here we have the original score sheet prior to the start of lifting, and if we look at this, the Polish lifter Wierzbicki seems to be a pretty heavy favorite. He's projected 30 to 40 kilos ahead of us, so we know that we need to make a lot of lifts in order to be in range to catch up there. And we know Krawczyk from Canada pretty well. We don't know too much about the Kazakh lifter, but again, we know we just need to make some attempts and see what we can do. So here's Bryce's opener with 282.5, looking good, and Garrett's opener with 305 kilos. Looked a little bit weird at the bottom, so for Garrett we jumped 15 kilos instead of the planned 17, and for Bryce jumped 17 and stuck to the plan. So here's Bryce's second with 300 kilos. Also, Wierzbicki missed his opener on depth but still went up a little bit, and the Kazakh lifter missed his opener on depth and didn't look very good. So Bryce's second at 300 was good, and Garrett's second with 320 looked a little bit rough coming out of the bottom. He was sinking his squats more than usual, so for Garrett we went up 7 kilos in hopes of making a third. Bryce went up to 312.5, and that was probably even a little bit of a conservative call because it looked like he had a little bit left there, but in that situation you don't want to jump 15 to 20 kilos and potentially miss because that's leaving way too much on the table for a class like this. Here's Garrett's attempt at 327.5, wasn't quite there. And again, he was looking a little bit weird in the bottom of his squats on this day and just didn't have it for that one. So after squats, the lifter from Kazakhstan bombed. So it's essentially these four guys who are in the race for the podium here. So going into bench, we knew that both of our lifters had a decent shot at a world record range bench. Bryce's opener at 205 was good there, and Garrett's opener was good with 210. So we jumped 10 kilos on both of those. So the world record going into this session was 224.5, which essentially makes 225 a dead number because when you're going for a world record, you want to take advantage of being able to use the chips and getting those odd numbers on the board there. So for both of them, if it was there, the plan was to go somewhere around 225.5, and that's what happened. So we actually had 3 lifters in this meet that put in 225.5, and that's where lot numbers come into play. So the lifter with the lowest lot number will attempt that number first, and if they make a lift, the number gets bumped up half a kilo for the other guys that put in that same number. So Bryce is up first and he gets to go at 225.5. Gets a little bit stuck there in the middle, but is able to finish it out. That's a fantastic lift, and for a short period of time Bryce was the world record bencher. Here's Garrett, who got bumped up to 226 for his attempt. Grinds it out, gets pretty stuck there in the left arm, but is able to finish it. And again, another great lift. So for a short period of time, Garrett was also the world record holder, and that was followed up with the Irish lifter who hit 226.5 with some room to spare, and he'll likely be the one to chase on bench over the next few years. So here's what we're looking at going into deadlift. Wierzbicki dropped his opener to 365, which was the minimum that he needed to stay ahead of Bryce, which is a smart move by the Polish coaches. So basically, with Wierzbicki being the strongest deadlifter, he can match the jumps that Bryce takes on each attempt and stay ahead after each attempt and just put in whatever he needs on the third. So going into that, Garrett's about 10 kilos below Bryce and opening at 305 here. Really easy lift for him, so we jumped 20 kilos on that. Bryce's opener here is 322.5. Looked a little bit slow off the floor, so instead of jumping 17 to 20 for Bryce, we jumped 15 to get a solid second in. Here's Christoph's opener with 365. Looked a little bit odd from the front, and if we take a look at the side angle here, it looks like maybe there's a little bit of downward movement, and even the right hand may be starting to open up a little bit, which can be a little bit telling for what's to come. So going into second attempts, Wierzbicki is ahead, but we've taken some big jumps here. So Garrett took a 20 kilo jump here to 325. Again, another solid lift, getting himself in good position. and Bryce here with 337.5, which I thought actually looked a little bit better than his opener, a little bit cleaner off the floor. So Bryce is in good shape. Wierzbicki goes to 380 to try to stay ahead of Bryce and misses, loses grip a little bit at the top there. So now we're going into thirds. We put in a 20 kilo jump for Garrett so that we could buy some time and figure out what we want to do. We were in a pretty difficult spot for Garrett because when you're the lowest deadlifter of the group, you kind of have to maximize what you have and then hope that others miss. So for the change that we put in for Garrett, we put in 342.5 because we thought that Bryce was capable of 350 on the day, and if Garrett made 342, it would push Bryce to 352, which we thought was Bryce's limit. So if Garrett makes this lift, it would push Bryce to 352.5, and we didn't think Bryce would have that. But unfortunately, it was just a little bit too much for Garrett. Bryce stayed at 350 to try to keep pushing Chris off, and he didn't have that either. So here's Wierzbicki giving a shot at 380 again to try to take the lead back. And again, he misses it a little bit with grip towards the top. So the standings after second attempts actually stood, and Bryce was able to come out on top, Garrett in second, and Wierzbicki temporarily in third. Bryce Krawczyk actually had a chance to take back the bronze with a pretty reach attempt at 387.5, but the energy was just insane there, and I'll leave you with that.
He's on their feet for Bryce Krawczyk, and the ceiling is about to come down on us. Whoa!
This is the most insane crowd I have ever seen. Let's go, Bryce!
Hometown boy looking to spring the upset. Oh my God.
Let's go, Bryce.
Just a little much of an ask.